Are we actually live? I have no clue. I need to check my channel. I have no clue. I need to check my channel. I'm not using that. We got this. I think it went. Alright, we are live. Oops, sorry about that. I thought there was no school today, but I ended up having school today. F U. Nah, I'm joking, but actually though. Figure out how to add subscripts and explanations subscripts. Why is this one marked? How is it being marked with? That
we're gonna have to. Have to talk about some more topics here.
Should we do the LTX weekly updates really quick?
No.
damn you. Let me just get out the chat. The chat. How about chat? Where is chat? Okay. Huh? It's not the perpetual cycle. What is this? Interesting. Let me just use HTML. Let me just use the HTML edit. Speed. Alright.
Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope you're having a lovely day. So today I'd like to just dig into and do a little bit of a post-mortem of how the New York State right to repair bill that... I'm so surprised New York is this bad. Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. So today I'd like to follow up in a video that I did that was very critical of Fairphone, where I think that
Yeah, got it. Anyway. I just came home. But I'm into live streaming right now.
We did it, Reddit! NVIDIA was so embarrassed by the specs of the RTX 4080 12 gig that they unlaunched it. And now in its place, we've got the RTX 4070 Ti. It's the same GPU, but with a different name. Oh. But it got a $100 price drop, which unfortunately isn't quite the W that you might think it is. While theoretically there will be 4070 Ti's for $700, there are no first-party Founders Edition cards, meaning that MSRP is really just that, a manufacturer's suggested retail price. And later, we're gonna get into why no one really follows NVIDIA's suggestions anymore. The card that we were sent for review, for example, is lightly overclocked and costs $850 US, meaning that I kind of have to evaluate this as a 4080 12 gig with a name change and a 5.5% discount. This thing better be amazing. Amazing, like our sponsor,
Bridge Wallet. Bridge Wallet has redefined the tradition.
Wait. just not named right.
Right out of the gate, the 4070 Ti is in trouble, with specs that I might have imagined on a 4070 or even a 4060 Super. That puts its total bandwidth somewhere in between the RTX 3070 and 3070 Ti. So its only chance is if its other specs can pick up the slack. Fortunately, on paper, the 4070 Ti's core performance should contribute to a sizable uplift. It has 25% more CUDA cores than its predecessor, and they're clocked substantially higher. That's a good sign even before the architectural improvements thanks to its Ada Lovelace cores. This means improved ray tracing and tensor cores and shader execution reordering, which optimizes the order of the data sent to the ray tracing cores. NVIDIA called this as big an innovation for GPUs as out-of-order execution was for CPUs. Though, if our recent poll is any indication, most of you won't be making use of it anytime soon. Of course, how would you, given the ongoing popularity of the 10 series GPUs, which are turning 7 years old this year? NVIDIA's marketing push for the 4070 Ti is that it makes for a great upgrade from 10 and 20 series GPUs, which, okay, NVIDIA, let's play along with that for a moment. Compared to the GTX 1080 and 1080 Ti at 4K, we are looking at a staggering 2 to 3 times improvement in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, taking us from sub 60 FPS averages to over 100. Modern Warfare 2 is even more impressive at up to 4.5 times the performance. We're talking cinematic to playable just like that. 1440p does give our 10 series cards a better chance, but we're still looking at 2 to 4 times the performance in both of these games, making this truly an incredible upgrade over the 10 series GPU. No, this is stupid. I don't need to spend $850 to upgrade a 7-year-old card. That's better. To see how it really competes, we tested the RTX 4070 Ti not against what NVIDIA wants, but against a truly intimidating stack of GPUs. As an FYI, even though our review was so recent, we sanity checked our RX 7000 series GPU results, since driver updates have actually changed their performance characteristics since launch. We've also revalidated any of the numbers that we've reused, and we'll talk a bit more about our plans for our GPU testing methodology in a future video. Even with the full lineup, Shadow of the Tomb Raider has the 4070 Ti within about 8% of the RTX 3090 Ti, which is a fairly impressive achievement considering that it is nominally a 70 series GPU. And beat by the RX 7900 XT. Yes, I'm aware that GPU costs $50 more, but beginning of a pattern that repeats itself. First, in F1 2022, where the 4070 Ti gets stomped well beyond what that price difference would suggest, starting the 4070 Ti off on pretty rocky ground. Hitman 3 continues this floundering performance with frame rates nearly on par with the 3090 Ti, but well off of AMD and the RTX 4080 that it used to share a name with. And it's really more of the same story with Red Dead Redemption 2, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Modern Warfare 2, and Cyberpunk. Though Cyberpunk is more of a beatdown thanks to that game's memory-hungry nature, we think. Thankfully for NVIDIA, Forza Horizon 5 gives the 4070 Ti some breathing room as it meets or beats the 7900 XT and even beats the 3090 Ti. Though it's still a good 13% off of the real 4080. It's a really good thing that they changed that naming. For 4K gaming then, the RTX 4070 Ti ends up firmly behind both of AMD's Radeon 7000 series and everything from NVIDIA from the 3090 Ti and up, which seems to suggest that NVIDIA basically looked at 3090 Ti pricing on eBay and said, well, like that sounds good, maybe it's a little bit better. Now that memory bandwidth is less of an issue, Shadow of the Tomb Raider sees the 4070 Ti pull ahead of the 3090 Ti, less of an issue. And sees the 4070 Ti backsliding a little in relation to the 7900 XT, while maintaining its performance improvement over the 3090 Ti, but this doesn't carry over into Cyberpunk, Modern Warfare 2, and Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where we're looking at pretty much the same relative performance as our 4K tests. Forza, however, picks up spectacularly, with the 4070 Ti sitting firmly in third place, contributing to a generally rosier picture at 1440p overall. With roughly equal performance to a 3090 Ti then, and a small enough gap from the 7900 XT, it looks almost compelling in this overpriced GPU hellscape. And that's before we turn on ray tracing, which works fine, right? I mean, we knew it would be superior to the 7900 XT since that's a stronghold for NVIDIA at this point. But what was surprising is that it wasn't by as much as we expected. I was shocked to see the 7900 XTX actually outperform it at 4K in everything except for Cyberpunk, where the ray tracing cores seem to be doing a better job, potentially thanks to SER. At 1440p, things again get a bit better for the 4070 Ti with only a mild loss against the 7900 XTX and Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and overall better performance in the rest of the suite. Cyberpunk hits AMD even harder, but that doesn't help the 4070 Ti against its own brothers, who pull away significantly. That weak memory bandwidth seems to be really good. Interesting. When we turned on DLSS to test if the 4070 Ti's diminished tensor core count would prevent it from keeping up, it did just fine in Cyberpunk with a similar performance uplift to the 4080 and the 4090. Just fine in 70 Ti's diminished tensor core count would do. We tried a bunch of different settings here, and nothing we did changed the outcome at all. We think this could be a driver issue, considering that Cyberpunk of all games is fine, so we've reached out to NVIDIA about it to see what they have to say. If they respond in time for this video, we'll have their response on screen right now, and I'll just use this time to tell you all about how delicious water tastes from your LTDstore.com water bottle. It's great. In ray tracing then, the 4070 Ti is looking a lot like an RTX 3090 Ti when we look at the overall picture. And as expected, ray tracing performance for the price is superior to anything from Team Red. Unfortunately for NVIDIA, the vast majority of our
Yeah, I
viewers
know
have
my
never
own channel's
once enabled
live.
ray tracing, and under 15% of you actively use it. So, under 15% of you actively use it. So, at least for you guys, it might not be the trump card that they were hoping it would be. What might be, though, is productivity. Because remember, as much as we like to talk about games, these GPUs, for a lot of people, end up used for work, too. Starting with NVIDIA's current ace-in-the-hole Blender, the 4070 Ti manages a solid 43% improvement over its predecessor, but falls behind the RTX 3090 Ti and especially the RTX 4080, with performance against the latter being a mostly linear relationship with the difference in ray tracing core count. Things pick up a little with Procyon, with the video editing suite giving the 4070 Ti very close performance against the 3090 Ti, though still slightly behind both Radeon 7000 series cards. Photo editing is interesting, however. Most of the results are within a couple of percentage points, which seems to suggest that any modern GPU will be sufficient. But this doesn't tell the whole story. As more machine learning effects and filters trickle into your workflow, you can expect to see these numbers change, and it could be a pretty solid advantage for NVIDIA. DaVinci Resolve gives the 4070 Ti's NVENC encoders a run for their money, with what looks to be a memory bandwidth bottleneck slowing it down considerably next to its bigger siblings. It manages to be a little bit faster than its bandwidth difference would suggest, but this unfortunately means that out of our test suite, it only really beats the RTX 3060 in export speed. Topaz AI, though, is a better story for the 4070 Ti, where its enhanced core architecture makes shorter work of this GPU workload than even the RTX 3090 Ti, though AMD is the one who ends up stealing the show here, with even the last-gen 6900 XT putting up comparable numbers. The spec suites are another strong suit for NVIDIA ever since the 20 series, and the RTX 4070 Ti trades blows with the 3090 Ti in a lot of these tests, which is a good thing. Unfortunately, though, there are cases like 3ds Max and SolidWorks that give the 4070 Ti some trouble, likely again thanks to its relative shortage of cores and limited memory. Alone, the 3070 final performance TX Media, but it really does depend on what you're doing. If you're into 3D rendering or GPU compute, you're going to get a lot more bang out of a 4070 Ti than the 3090 Ti, which could make it an attractive option for the price and hopefully the power draw. If you're into video editing, however, it's not a worthy upgrade over even the 3070 Ti, and you might want to consider a 7000 series Radeon instead if you need a new GPU today, preferably one with hardware AV1 encoding support. So if we're looking at an RTX 3090 or 3090 Ti, also when compared to AMD's price compute, the story stays pretty much the same. This time, Radeon RX 7900 series review, we made a mistake when we changed the way that we collected our data, and we initially showed total graphics power and total board power in the same chart. Those measurements are not comparable. So this time we are strictly using total board power, and in the future we're planning to use external equipment for better accuracy than board sensors or NVIDIA's PCAP. Stay tuned for that. When we zoom in on our power consumption results for Forza Horizon 5 at 1440p, the power consumption without a frame rate cap is pretty much in line with the RTX 4080, which actually is not a great thing considering that it ran about 5 to 10 FPS slower. However, when we cap the frame rate to 100, it actually lines up so perfectly, I almost thought the graph only had 3 lines. AMD's cards, by comparison, ran about 30 to 50 watts higher most of the time. That works out to about 17 watts per frame less than the Radeon 7900 when connected to different monitors of the RTX 4070 with AMD's 7000. Standard cooler for us to test. With that in mind then, take these results with a grain of salt, like a reference or a founder's edition of the RTX 4070 Ti with a standard cooler for us to, which quickly ramps up past 80 degrees and holds there throughout, and more relative to the 4090, sticking again.
You already see this video. Saw this video, so oh, well. Oh, God, this is kind of embarrassing. I'm just trying to watch this video right now. The RTX NV-Play 2023 Boy 64 blah 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 blah. What do you want to do? What do you... Oh, okay. Oh, okay, alright. I'm recording my voice right now, and, okay, you should hear it. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. Oh, I didn't. Hopefully nobody was. Okay. Alright. 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 Wow. Alright. Oh, yeah, so. different. BB. What the does WB mean? What? Map this. Alright. Then.
It's day 2 of TechLinked CES coverage, but it's actually like day -1 for CES because the show technically starts on January 5th, which is Thursday, at which point everyone is already kind of sick of CES.
Welcome to the pre-show, baby.
Hey, you got exclusive backstage access. NVIDIA started day -1 off with a bang, or several bangs. The first bang is RTX 40 series GPUs for laptops, with top-end RTX 4090 and 4080 equipped models starting at $2,000 and launching February 8th.
Oh, someone called Ricky Martin.
With the lower-end models coming by February 22nd starting at $1,000. You might say that's expensive before you hear that they have tri-speed memory, which you didn't even know you wanted. NVIDIA also said they're bringing GeForce Now support to some cars made by Hyundai, Polestar, and BYD, which is a brand. They're a Chinese brand. So the cloud gaming service's new RTX 4080 SuperPods can deliver ray-traced gameplay at 240 frames per second to trust fund kids in the back seat. These are expensive cars. Well, the lovely what?
Hyundai.
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 I'm anglicizing it. And last but not least, NVIDIA's officially unlaunching the RTX 40. AS. That's the Charizard of the lineup.
Beefy lab.
I was gonna use a more modern Pokemon, but I don't.
Typhlosion? That's more modern.
Typhlosion.
Yeah.
The lineup now has low power T models, graphics less F models, and deep fried KFC models. I didn't have to do that one. I didn't have to, I wish I didn't. Team Blue also thought it was time to let the 13th gen laptop CPUs out of the bag with 9 new chips featuring 10 to 24 cores, including the Core i9-13980HX, the world's fastest mobile processor until AMD says the same thing about one of theirs. But more exciting than that was the announcement that Intel's XeSS upscaling feature would work on integrated graphics, enabling up to a 30% performance boost. So, I guess it's okay that Intel quietly raised the listed prices of its 12th gen processors on its Arc Online database, meaning that the announced prices for the new 13th gen models are actually lower than their predecessors, meaning that Intel most likely planned to do things this way so the new chips don't look as bad. Were previous CES announcements this shady? I know it's Vegas.
Or someone line us the box of 12th gen chips.
They just dropped it?
They just dropped them all.
And Dell didn't have a big keynote today, but they had to get in on the hype by announcing what might be the world's first publicly available 500Hz IPS gaming monitor, depending on what ASUS has to say about their previously announced but not launched 540Hz display. At CES, you gotta wait for your cue, or they'll use the big hook to take you off, like in the olden times. Dell subsidiary Alienware also announced a slew of laptops with upgraded internals and exterior design. The G series in particular were described by our new TechLinked writer as, what'd you say?
Outrun aesthetic?
No, you said it was cute.
Oh, okay, that too.
And there was also an update to Alienware's Concept NIX edge computing system announced 2 years ago, which involves everybody in a house gaming or computing with edge devices connected to a central PC. And the new controller design has a fingerprint reader and other options for personalization, and they even threw in a Steam controller style touchpad. It hasn't gained traction yet because people just don't understand it. It just needs to be given a chance. Like our sponsor for TechLinked CES coverage, Seasonic. Except I was being sarcastic when I said that about the controller, but I'm being serious now. Give Seasonic a chance, and they won't let you down. They've been making power supplies for like 1,000,000 years, which is why when they work with Newegg to give you $10 off a Focus FM series power supply by using promo code LOVELMG, it's no joke! They also have these super cool new MagFlow fans with a fancy magnetic connection system that makes installation simple and clean. You're gonna hear this from me a lot this week, but I would die for Seasonic. That's not true. I would sustain an injury for them though. Check them out at the link below. If I call this section Quick Biscuits, do you think LMG could hire someone to bring me mid-episode snacks?
I think you confused the South and the UK.
They both have biscuits. Acer announced some products that embrace the spirit of weird CES a bit more. There's a new Predator Helios laptop with a 250Hz mini LED screen, kind of unusual, it's cool. The Acer Halo Swing is a smart speaker equipped with Google Assistant, RGB lighting at the base, an understated LED array on the front, and a handle for portability.
A handle?
What is, it's weird! What is this, 2018? And best of all, the eConnect. A desk with an integrated stationary bike that generates power to recharge your laptop and phone. That's what I'm talking about. It's weird. Save the planet and your mind, because now you're thinking about this and not how sleazy Nvidia and Intel are. Apple doesn't usually show up at CES, but this year, leaks about the company's long-in-development mixed reality headset did. A report from The Information claims the device will have a waist-mounted battery, a la the Magic Leap, a 120-degree field of view like the Valve Index, that's more than 106 degrees FOV on the Meta Quest Pro, and a digital crown like the Apple Watch that users will be able to use to switch between the physical and virtual world, which will definitely not be called a metaverse. They said they wouldn't.
Meant that, like, if you look in the mirror, you're wearing a crown and you're wearing the headset.
Because you're the king of this metaverse, baby. I hope it also has like a siren like the Apple Watch Ultra for if you get lost. What server am I on? In other Apple news, the company has raised the price of replacing an out-of-warranty iPhone battery for the iPhone 13 lineup and older by $20. Now this is interesting in the following context. In 2018, when it was discovered that Apple was throttling the speed of older iPhones as their battery degrades, Apple dropped the cost of battery replacements to just $30. But by 2019, they bumped it up to $70. And now they're bumping it up again. Why? Inflation?
Money!
I think it's money. Google has announced Jigsaw, a free software tool that smaller websites can use to identify and remove terrorist material, so of course it makes sense to name it after a fictional serial killer. Many have expressed concerns about AI-powered moderation tools to name it after a used to identify and remove terrorist. Jigsaw, a free software, of course it makes sense to name it after a fictional serial killer. Many have expressed concerns about AI-powered moderation tools, so hopefully normal people don't get caught in the crossfire and the tool blocks only actual terrorists, like people who threaten to kill their coworkers over putting up a Christmas tree too early. James isn't here, but we're throwing shade at him.
That's a valid shot.
And let's end with a weirder yet cool CES product, the AWOL Vision Vanish. It's a short throw laser projector that also packs speakers and even a retractable self-standing screen into a single cabinet for $16,000. Now hold on, that's for the 120-inch version.
Oh.
So if you're still waiting on this month's pay, you can settle for the 100-inch model at $15,000. It's not, they understand where you're at.
Steal. My wallet.
I can't wait to see what other insane products force themselves into my consciousness this week.
This thing is so unbelievably cool. Okay, sorry, let's host the video. Okay, quick. Name the companies that pioneered 3D graphics. If you said Silicon Graphics, Pixar, and 3DFX, you're close, but no. Those guys merely adopted 3D. Evans and Sutherland was born into it, created by, excuse me, sorry, I don't do a good Bane voice. Evans and Sutherland, the company, was created by and named for the guys who literally taught the classes that shaped the careers of the people who went on to create those other companies. But that's ancient history, I might hear you say. Show me something interesting. Here's something interesting. A dual-layered graphics card with 2 different connectors on it that's old enough to still use DVI and yet appears to have 4 GPUs on it, predating Crossfire and NVIDIA SLI? Are you not interested? I'm interested. What the heck are we looking at here? What it appears to be is 2 completely separate, independent graphics cards sandwiched, and then if you look in between, bridged together with 2 different connectors. So this one uses AGP, or Accelerated Graphics Port, and this one uses PCI. No, not PCI Express, old school PCI. And what it all comes together to make is Evans and Sutherland's last graphics card, known as the SimFusion OpenSim 6500Q. And what a beast it is. Each of these cards has 2 Radeon 9800 XT graphics cores for a total of 4 GPUs. Guys, other than some weird Alienware thing, this is before Quad SLI or Quad Crossfire existed. So how did they do it? As it turns out, after we posted on Twitter about finding this card on eBay, one of the former Evans and Sutherland engineers who worked on this project took notice. Lane Christensen, who, by the way, is still working for the simulation arm of the company, which is now owned by Collins Aerospace, volunteered to offer us some background, so we want to thank him very deeply for taking the time out of his busy schedule to demystify this for us.
During my conversation with Lane, he explained that he was part of a team of about 10 hardware engineers and 5 software engineers who worked together to build the cards, which came in both a dual GPU and quad GPU configuration. The quad GPU config we have here requires 2 separate cards, and they communicate together using AGP4X and PCI slots, with a midboard connection that links them together here. Lane wasn't sure exactly what bridge chip they used, but I see an FPGA on the front of the card here that seems to fit the bill. As for why not 6 or 8 GPUs, this was actually the practical upper limit that they could achieve using AGP and PCI alone. Remember, while AGP and PCI Express are dedicated links, or at least can be, the old PCI standard shared its bandwidth among all devices on the bus by design.
According to Lane, ATI, which is now Radeon Technologies Group, had baked-in support for connecting multiple GPUs together like this, in what was clearly a precursor to Crossfire, even though they didn't offer it to end users as a solution, like just, plugging in a couple of cards. Kind of makes sense because no motherboards that I'm aware of existed with multiple AGP slots. But hey, why not offer it, since you're working on it, to a third-party partner who's trying to build a custom solution? I mean, they don't really do that kind of stuff anymore, but that was something that ATI fully endorsed and even offered support for at the time. By the way, speaking of the past, get subscribed. We're going to be building a PC from 10 years ago and comparing it to brand new. You won't want to miss it. Now, as for Evans and Sutherland, you guys might think, well, gee, if they're going to go and build this thing, why don't they just, sell it? Why couldn't I buy one of these? Why have I never seen one of these? The truth is, these cards weren't available to just anyone on the open market. SimFusion was their simulator platform at the time. And as best as I can tell, a prospective customer would be looking at buying a 25U or even a full-height 40U rack of 5 to 9 node PCs configured with these, all connected together as a cluster with a common sink for both output and the render buffers. Now, as you can see, unfortunately, we don't have 5 or even 2 of these. But Anthony did manage to put together this test bench based on the same hardware configuration using specifications from Lane and the user manual. Wait, is this thing using all solid-state caps?
That would make sense.
Wow, that was like very high-end shiz back then.
Back then, all solid-state caps was a little bit unusual. This actually high-end Intel server board used caps that were part of the capacitor plague. I actually had to recap the board before it would work.
We're just gonna have to pretend that we're using proper cooler mounts here. Don't overthink it. Let's just throw the card in here and, oh man, 2-slot card. Kind of push on that pretty hard. And take a nice cold drink to take our mind off at lttstore.com. Power switch, it's 2 moment of truth. Whoa! Yep, well there's your thermal take bearings 17 years later. To be clear, I'm not actually blaming thermal take for that. That's just what happens to bearings over the course of 17 years.
Especially for something that would have been on 24/7 for a long time.
Numlock's working. No display output yet though.
There's an interesting idiosyncrasy with this card actually. Due to the way they had to, I guess, do like double wide and even triple wide resolutions, they disabled certain other resolutions in the BIOS of the card. So it won't actually display text mode or even, I think, VGA mode. It has to be like 800 by 600 or above. So you're not going to get anything over there right now.
Until I do. Is that a Windows XP desktop that I'm looking at, baby?
That's what it ran up. I put on my mask again.
You guys might be wondering, where on earth did you find a driver for a card like this? Some Russian FTP? Good guess, but actually no. We scoured the internet and we're not able to find any working driver. Thankfully, Lane actually had one lying around on an old drive, and presumably got his employer's permission to fire it over to us so we could do something that a SimFusion 6500 probably never did. Run games. What should we try first? I mean, 3D Mark 2001 SE is what I'm sort of leaning towards. Or maybe some good old-fashioned Aquamark? Is that still around?
I don't know, I didn't download it.
I don't know if I want to plug an XP machine into our network.
It was plugged into the network for a while there, but it's XP Service Pack 4 on the unofficial Service Pack 4, so it's fully patched.
All right. Man, this is not a fast computer, sir.
No, it is not.
What is this?
These are
Single core with hyper-threading. Oh yeah! 4 threads, baby! Yeah! 4 threads! High school me would have thought this was amazingly sexy to look at.
Oh yeah. Like just even seeing multiple graphs in Task Manager was like the most trippy thing.
Okay, here we go. Oh no! Wow, okay. In fairness to the card though, I mean, it's running. Wow, even the loading screens are a little broken.
It's worth pointing out that all of Evans and Sutherland's simulation stuff was OpenGL based. They didn't really qualify the card at all for Direct3D. The GPUs themselves are Direct3D 9 compatible, but 4 of them, it might be a bit hit or miss.
I remember this nature demo looking so impressive to me. I was like, wow, there's so many like leaves on the trees. Man, I'm trying to find a 9800 XT 3D Mark 2001 run to compare against, and like, these old websites have not aged well. Hey, there we go. Okay, so at 1024 by 768, a single 9800 XT managed 16,800 points. Let's try Aquamark. Oh man, this tube, it just brings back so many memories. This is like pre-me making videos. This is like me literally sitting in my basement or like my girlfriend's room, like, you know, tuning my overclock 1 megahertz at a time or whatever. And like staring at this, checking for artifacts. Let me tell you, if I ever saw it look like this, I'd be like, oh, no, off, everything off, and turn that overclock down. That's not the issue right now, though. And then that's the massive overdraw. This is the big explosion at the end. 9 FPS, 8.6 FPS, 8.5. Aquamark 3, 44,262 with an average FPS of 44.26. Now, this isn't coming up right now, and my numlock's not even working. I think the system may have crashed, but it's pretty fair to say that we did not average 42 FPS. So from a Direct3D gaming perspective, buying 4 9800 XTs is actually worse than buying 1 9800 XT. Let's try something OpenGL. Here's something I don't really get. Why is it that the 2 9800 XTs in the middle of the sandwich are the ones that don't have fans?
It's possible that it was designed for case airflow.
If that's the case, then we should probably put a fan on this poor thing, because it might be cooking in there. I wonder if that's why we're getting so many artifacts. We need a bigger fan. Well, not bigger, but definitely more powerful. Ah, stop!
Should we have grills on our blowies?
Absolutely, we should. These are a finger removal hazard waiting to happen. Ow! Oh, I pinched my tummy.
Oh.
I've done that so many times.
Ow! Whoa, settle down there, buddy. Oh yeah, we got airflow now, boys. All right, benchmark time. Damn it! We're gonna leave it on anyway though, because having the card cooled properly is gonna be a factor for our last test. Unreal Tournament 99 Game of the Year Edition. Now this is an actual OpenGL game, so this is what the card was, well, I'm not gonna say tuned for. It wasn't made to run games, but their simulators did use OpenGL. Oh my God, I can't remember how to move in this game. No! No, I suck! Ah, no! I don't understand this FPS counter.
Okay, it's frame times, not FPS. So we're anywhere between 3 and 8 milliseconds per frame. Probably we're running around 150, 160 FPS, I would say.
Sounds about right. We're at 1280 by 1024.
Oh, come on, just die! Okay, if I can't manage to get a kill with a rocket launcher, I don't deserve to. All right, I can't deal with this anymore. Oh, my headache. We couldn't find a professional review discussing this, but here we go. Here's a rage3d.com thread where someone complains that in UT, whenever there's dynamic lighting, their 9800 Pro drops from 100 FPS average to 40 FPS. So that would seem to indicate that if we're over 100 FPS here, that at least we're doing better than a single 9800 Pro? Okay, so that's not 4 times the performance, but it's better than a kick in the teeth. Of course, as I've said before, gaming was really not the point of it, and the enterprise-grade functionality, like being able to sync together many of these running in many systems across an entire rack, was really what Evans and Sutherland's customers were after. Here's a fun thing though. Check this out. I alt-tabbed out of the game, and we got this really weird sort of interleavy pattern on the desktop.
The card was able to be set up in multiple different ways as far as how it renders the screen itself. So as Linus alt-tabbed here, he ended up with these strips. It seems to indicate that we were looking at like a kind of line-based rendering mechanism right now. Otherwise, it could be split up into quadrants or alternating the swap chain as each card just kind of renders a frame and just kind of keep going like that.
What's especially cool about that is that those rendering techniques are actually the same ones that are still used for multi-GPU setups today, which I guess leads us to why the 6000 series was both the first and last of its kind. Lane says that after the development of this card, PCI Express enabled just off-the-shelf solutions for single or even multi-GPU setups that made this kind of engineering totally unnecessary. So for how long this thing was relevant and how expensive it must have been, I count myself lucky to have one, even if I did apparently grossly overpay for it. Thanks for watching, guys. If you're looking for something else kind of historical to watch, maybe go check out my video on Intel's previous.
Not looking great for our tough OC edition of the 4070 Ti, which
So the other day, Jake was talking to an annoying client about, what he wants his PC to be like. And at some point in time, they decided that instead of being in, a normal PC case, this would be a build that would take us, a day, maybe 3, they want a pyramid PC case. So we're going to have to custom make it using, steel tubing, just like this one right here. This should be the last of the supplies that we need for this build right here, but holy crap, do we have a lot of to do. It's what? 2:30 on a Monday, and by Friday we want for the frame to be built, the parts to be ordered, and like a test fit to be totally complete. So let's take a look at what we've got going on over here. So I just mocked this up. This is basically what we're thinking. We need, probably 3 GPUs. There's only one in here right now, but that's fine. You get the basic idea of what I'm going for. This is going to be tricky to bend, and along all of the outside there's going to be Illuminati stuff. I guess let's get started. So we're not going to be able to change any of this. We're going to start cutting and
Intel's been the industry's favorite punching bag for the last few years. We've certainly taken our fair share of cheap shots. But that changes today, because chips like this, with 2 different kinds of cores in them, or more, are probably the direction the entire industry is going to go. That's right, Intel jumped on the bandwagon with ARM and Apple for their best generational upgrade in at least a decade. But let's back up a sec. This isn't gonna be another furnace like past generations, is it? And if there cheaping out, juicing up their spec sheets with these low performance efficiency cores, how could they possibly compare to AMD, who ships only high performance cores? Our sponsor Corsair doesn't know. Thanks Corsair for sponsoring this video. Corsair's 165 Hz refresh rate, 1 millisecond paradigm shift for 12th gen 12th Gen Core, codename Alder Lake, is a paradigm shift for desktop processors. But it's also one that we've had in mobile for quite some time, and the TLDR is this. Instead of stuffing as many full power cores into the CPU as possible, then turboing them down when they're all active, the cores are now split up between performance and efficiency cores, called P and E cores respectively. The launch lineup ranges from 10 to 16 total cores, with the main differences between them being, of course, clock speed, and that the performance cores are capable of running 2 threads at once via hyperthreading. There's more to the platform than that, but the first question you guys have is, how does all of this impact performance? Great question, but we need to talk about Windows 11 first. It's kind of a prerequisite for testing Alder Lake's radical new design, because the thing is, Windows 10 just doesn't have a scheduler that's capable of taking full advantage of this new architecture. This is a huge problem because up until now, Windows 11's new scheduler hasn't been kind to AMD. Thankfully, the fixes for performance issues on Ryzen came out just as we were starting our benchmarks, so our numbers should be fair to both sides, in spite of the fact that we're benchmarking on Windows 11. We do need to address another big variable here though. Alder Lake supports both DDR4 and DDR5, which each have their own trade-offs. We chose DDR5 for our launch review, meaning that our numbers are going to represent a best case scenario for performance, but maybe won't represent a best case scenario for value due to DDR5's higher cost. F1 2021 starts things off with a bang for Intel, with the Core i9-12900K coming in at 5 to 10% faster than its Ryzen 9 competitors, and the Core i5 just a hair's breadth away. Can Intel keep it up with Forza? Oh yeah, they can. That is anywhere from 8 to 11% faster, depending on the parameter you're looking at. And whatever advantage Intel has here, probably clock speed, it's paying off in Far Cry 6 too, with an even bigger lead. It is up to 25% faster than the competition and never dipped below 100 frames per second. And if you've been paying close attention to the graphs, the Core i5 has never been far behind, making life really difficult for our previous value gaming darling, the Ryzen 5 5600X. Moving on to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Well, this is a bit of a mess, isn't it? The Ryzen 9 5900X beats out the Core i9 with the higher turboing, not to mention higher core count 5950X falling behind even the Ryzen 5. Given how lightly threaded Flight Simulator has been so far, this might just be an example of the new Windows 11 scheduler running up against something that it didn't expect, in spite of the fixes. In fact, we almost threw this test out due to the weirdness, but we felt like, whatever's going on, this is one scenario where Intel's new silicon isn't as dominant as they'd like it to be, and is possibly also an area of investigation for AMD and Microsoft. Then you've got situations like CSGO, where Intel treats us to even more ludicrous frame rates in the Dust 2 benchmark, and Civilization 6, where our turn times are a good 7 to 10% shorter than on Team Red, which could make that one more turn before bed go by a little quicker. Overall, our testing has firmly demonstrated that Intel has reclaimed its crown for gaming performance, with the Core i9 enjoying a solid 7% overall lead over Ryzen 9, and the Core i5 pulling ahead even further compared to the Ryzen 5. Man, this kind of competition is what I signed up for when Ryzen first launched. Now, Intel famously thinks that Cinebench is not really a real-world test, but they've got cause to celebrate these numbers for a change. Cinebench tends to scale linearly with core count, so the fact that a CPU that has only 8 proper performance cores could dethrone the Ryzen 9 is an achievement, perhaps fueled in part by its DDR5 memory. It also demonstrates that those efficiency cores ain't your grandma's efficiency cores. They clearly pack some punch. While the Firefox compile did take a little longer on the Core i9 versus the 5950X, Intel still won out in the bursty BMW Blender render, although they lost ground on the higher endurance Gooseberry test, showing that for really serious multi-core work, AMD is still the more compelling option. And aside though here, that Core i5 be looking more like a 5800X than a 5600X. Keep that in mind for when we discuss pricing later. Now strangely, Corona benchmark seems to come back in favor of AMD's additional cores, which shows that 3D rendering may be becoming more than simply a raw, how many cores do you have game. Puget Bench, for its part, benefits from what Intel's got on tap with a healthy lead, especially in Photoshop over AMD, although Intel falls short in Spec Workstation, where the only consistent wins are against the 5900X. Check out the financial services and energy tests, guys, where the 5950X still lives in a league of its own. If you look at all the productivity benchmarks together though, you'll see that the Core i9 averages about 3% lower than the more expensive 5950X and 10% higher than the less expensive 5900X, which puts it in kind of weird, might be worth it, might not be worth it territory, depending on what you're doing. The Core i5, on the other hand, is over 30% faster than AMD's competing Ryzen 5 for just $10 more at retail, making it very compelling. That is, at least if you were already down to spend the extra to move to DDR5. We're gonna have a follow-up comparing DDR4 to DDR5 performance at various clock speeds coming, so make sure that you're subscribed for that. How's Intel doing all this though? Well, first is the Intel 7 manufacturing process. It's basically just a rebrand of their 10nm process that we've already seen in laptops, but this is its first appearance without thin and light power constraints, and boy did they ever unconstrain it. Because another big part of the equation is Intel effectively making support for multi-core enhancement official. What this does is throw the processor base power rating completely out the window in favor of always running at maximum turbo power, letting the CPU be unrestrained as long as there's thermal and power budget available. It makes such a dramatic difference to performance that motherboard manufacturers who enabled this by default in the past were accused of cheating at benchmarks. Of course, like any overclocking, it comes at a cost. The processor base power for the Core i9-12900K is 125 watts, same as the rest of the lineup. However, when loaded down with a long blender render, this thing easily sucked back over 230 watts. That is nearly double what our Ryzen 9 chips drew. Thankfully, however, this doesn't carry over to gaming, where F1 2021 stayed within the processor base power of 125 watts, often remaining lower than Ryzen. So, as it turns out, those efficiency cores can make a big difference to lighter workloads. As for the Core i5-12600K, it stayed within the 125 watt processor base power on both the Blender workload and our F1 2021 gaming test, where it's only a little bit more power hungry than the Ryzen 5 5600X. Continues to get even more compelling, doesn't it? Something to note though, is that you won't see anything close to this boost forever behavior on a non-K chip. So don't assume that just because you see two CPUs with a similar model number that you will see similar performance, especially not at the very high end. To keep thermals under control under these circumstances, Intel thinned out their die even further and even thinned out the soldered thermal interface material. But in spite of their efforts, the fact is that anything drawing that much power that is that small is gonna get hot. Our NHD15 strained to keep our CPU package below 90 degrees. And after about 8 minutes, all pretenses that thermals might be manageable were completely gone. For context, guys, the NHD15 is the top performing heatsink on the market, and it beats out many water coolers. At least the efficiency cores only got to around 70 or 80 degrees, so that's a plus, I guess. But compared to even the Ryzen 9 5950X, a 16 performance core CPU, this thing packs a ridiculous amount of heat into a tiny area, as much or more than last gen Rocket League with multi-core enhancement enabled. Again though, it's far more manageable with gaming, where F1 2021 pushed our Core i9 into only the mid-60s. Our Core i5, for its part, never got hotter than around 70 degrees, even in our all-out Blender render, while only hitting 60 in games. It almost feels like Intel sent us the Core i5 because that's the CPU that they really wanted us to review, but they knew we'd want to look at the Core i9, so they threw that in the box as well. Like, how much extra heat is that for what? 6 more FPS from a gaming perspective? Save your money, buy a water bottle at lttstore.com. And it gets even worse for the Core i9. These results mean that if you intend to run the CPU at the red line a lot, maybe you're a content creator who does a lot of rendering, or you're a developer who runs a lot of large compile operations, you're gonna want to invest in a big cooler, both for your CPU and for your computer room during the summer months. And that's a cost that you do have to consider. Another cost to consider is the platform. We already mentioned that DDR5 won't come cheap, but the same is true of the Z690 chipset motherboards that 12th gen CPUs require. Now, there will be long-term benefits to taking the plunge. PCI Express Gen 5, which doubles bandwidth over PCIe Gen 4, is gonna unlock the full capabilities of the next generations of graphics cards. And the new DMI 4.0 link between the CPU and the chipset means more high-speed networking, more high-speed peripherals, more storage devices. You guys can get the full details on this in our platform overview, which we're gonna have linked below. What you need to know now, though, is should you pull the trigger? If an OP cooler is in your budget, the Core i9 12900K would get the nod from us, for both gamers and for power users. That is assuming that gaming was your top priority. But the really interesting chip today is the Core i5 12600K. At $320, it might be only a 6-core CPU, like a Ryzen 5, but those extra 4 efficiency cores, boy, do they ever pick up a lot more slack than we assumed they would. I mean, this is a legit generational leap over even the 5600X, and in my opinion, it is the big winner today. Just like our sponsor is the big winner, Jackery. Jackery makes solar-ready portable power stations that are designed to improve outdoor life by providing power outdoors whenever and wherever you need it. The Explorer 1500 portable power station has enough juice to keep all your devices powered and connected. Its huge 1500 watt-hour capacity and 8 though aren't Intel is back. It's not quite the way we all expected when Ryzen first hit the scene back in 2017, but I don't think we could have hoped for a better outcome than this. Not just for the consumer, but for the entire industry.
12th Gen Core, codenamed Alder Lake, is like nothing we've ever seen on the PC to date. And I'm getting some serious Ryzen, or maybe Bulldozer, vibes from the lateral thinking it took to put it all together.
So let's talk about PC laptops can be custom, mostly comparing against their own last gen product. But make no mistake, they are same and up to 50% better than 11th gen Core processors. This is huge, although there are some concerns about their methodology. Intel's graphs mention running Windows 11 for all of their testing. And that's a problem, because if you've been keeping up with the tech news, you'll know that Windows 11's new scheduler had a little problem with AMD processors that took a big toll on performance. It's patched now, but when they tested, it definitely wasn't, which means that all of these numbers need to be taken with a veritable pillar of salt. And that's not even considering the potential impacts that this new hybrid architecture is going to have on older DRM or anti-cheat technologies that use CPU detection. While providers for these technologies have already begun to roll out fixes, older games and apps may never receive any, breaking compatibility.
But what makes it so different that DRM and even Windows 11's scheduler might break? It's more like Apple's M1 processors with dedicated performance and efficiency cores, P and E cores for short. Those allow for tasks to be intelligently delegated between the cores that best suit them. This has fueled suspicions that Windows 11's problematic new scheduler was developed specifically for Alder Lake, and I can see why. Intel claims that each cluster of 4 of the E cores fit in the same space as a single 6th gen Skylake core, but each are more capable per watt. And I should point out, despite their age, Skylake cores are very capable and usable to this day, so that's saying a lot still. That ultimately means that if all the P cores are full, sending a task to the simplified E cores might actually be faster than using brute force hyperthreading to split the P cores. On that note, hyperthreading is only available on the P cores, so we'll have to see for ourselves what that means for heavily threaded tasks like rendering or code compilation. My guess is each E core cluster will roughly equal 1 or 2 additional P cores, if not more depending on the task.
But how do you even use these new cores? Enter Thread Director, which detects what kind of work an app is doing and provides feedback to the operating system telling it which cores those apps are best suited for. It works kind of like SpeedShift or Preferred Core does, except it's got the CPU directly talking to the operating system. No extra drivers required. Windows 11 already has support baked in for Thread Director, but this should also work with Linux. And if Microsoft were to grace us with an update to Windows 10, it would work there too. Not that I'm holding my breath. On the platforms that do support Thread Director, it's going to be a pretty big deal. Background tasks, like say a virus scan or a Windows update, are going to be pushed onto the efficiency course, which not only reduces the impact on foreground tasks, like gaming or content creation, but can also reduce power consumption and heat output while those tasks are running, which on future mobile chips will mean better laptop battery life. We don't have any info on those products right now, but what we do know is that the K-series desktop i5s, i7s, and i9s will all have a TDP of 125 watts in this generation.
Which sounds ridiculously confusing, because how can a Core i5 have the same TDP as a Core i9? But what Intel's doing here is such a breath of fresh air compared to previous releases. What used to be called TDP is now processor base power, or PBP, and this is how much power the CPU is assured to have available to it in sustained workloads. And now, Intel is also advertising the maximum turbo power, or MTP, which is how much the CPU can use during boost.
With that information being disclosed now, you can finally make informed decisions about your cooling setup. Not only that, but K-series CPUs are shipping with a sustained boost mode, where PBP equals MTP, effectively turning on multi-core enhancement by default and letting the CPU boost forever. So now there's finally a reason to buy a K-series CPU. I mean, aside from overclocking, which, hey, may actually be a thing again. Intel wouldn't say how much headroom there is, but their new Extreme Tuning utility is shipping with a one-click overclock function that adds a fixed 100 MHz across all cores. So while that's a mild OC, it definitely shows a lot of confidence in their silicon.
And they may have good reason to be confident. Not only does 12th Gen Core have a larger footprint in the updated LGA 1700 socket, it's also built on Intel's long-awaited 10nm SuperFin process, now called Intel 7 because, thanks to marketing, nanometers have lost all meaning in chip making. Ice Lake was the first to use this process, but suffered from frequency issues that Tiger Lake largely resolved. Can I just say that it's really fitting that it would be under Intel's new CEO, Pat Gelsinger, that the new process would finally be ready for the desktop? He was the chief technology officer back in 2008 when Intel first spoke about 10nm. Like it's like they kept the seat warm for him. With 6 generations of 14nm chips. They could have, just used a water bottle from LTDstore.com. It would have been a lot cheaper, for sure.
Right? The new V2 ones even have an Intel-inspired design. There's more to the platform than just nanometers and cores, though. Intel the consumer CPU to use PCI Express Gen 5, which feels really soon after Gen 4, doesn't it? Although it was kind of like this with Gen 1 through 3. It just took a long time for Gen 4 to come around to the consumer market. The benefits of PCI Express Gen 5, though, aren't super clear just yet. But as with Gen 4, it doubles the bandwidth over its predecessor, and once cards are available to take advantage of it, it could allow for far more flexible lane arrangements for things like bifurcation. Because here's the thing, 8 lanes of Gen 5 is equivalent to 16 lanes of Gen 4, or even 32 lanes of Gen 3. Man, we are firing on all cylinders now. It's kind of like the innovation that we missed out on in the 2010s is all just hitting us at once now. This is great.
12th Gen Core CPUs are going to ship with a combination of PCI Express Gen 5 and Gen 4. Perhaps the most useful improvement for right now, though, is the upgraded Gen 4 link to the new 600 series chipsets, which is double the bandwidth of both the outgoing 500 series and AMD's X570 platform. Not only that, but the chipset now supports up to 28 Gen 4 lanes. Taken together, this should make it a lot easier for Z690's new integrated Wi-Fi 6E and standard 2.5 gig Ethernet to coexist with things like 10 gig Ethernet and 20 gig USB ports, additional storage, and more. Also, it's not common, but Intel is curiously supporting a dedicated clock generator for more reliable base clock overclocking. Wouldn't expect to see these outside of enthusiast boards though, because who actually does that?
Alder Lake is also the first x86 CPU to ship with support for DDR5. Now, like many transition chips, the memory controller on Alder Lake is compatible with both DDR5 and last generation DDR4, but it should be noted that you can't run both at the same time. DDR5 could end up being one of the most interesting things about Alder Lake because it is a huge departure from just about everything we know about computer memory. I've got a full deep dive on what is different about it. It went up yesterday. You guys are gonna wanna check that out. The TLDR though is that internal bottlenecks have been removed, the power management has been moved onto each DIMM, and it provides much more granular overclocking control. Intel's XMP3 memory overclocking spec also allows manufacturers to include up to 3 separate profiles now, and includes 2 user-specified profile blocks with descriptive names for things like high bandwidth mode or low latency mode, including per module voltage control. Each of the profiles are CRC checksummed, so if anything should happen to corrupt one, the system will actually know about it instead of happily moving that decimal point and letting out the magic smoke. As for the hardware vendors, self-certification is free of charge, which should speed up adoption of XMP3, perhaps even among lower-end memory kits.
That's not all Intel's doing with memory though. Where 11th Gen Core brought the ability to toggle XMP manually after the PC has been booted, Dynamic Memory Boost is a new feature that can automatically toggle it based on load. It's something like Turbo Boost, but for RAM. This means that you can save on power and thermal output while retaining the benefits of high-speed memory when you need it, which might not be a big deal for desktops, but for laptops, this is gonna be huge. There's no software or operating system support needed for it either. It's entirely handled by the CPU and the BIOS, so even something esoteric like Temple OS can use it. Intel says that it's also usable with DDR4, so you don't even need to buy in on expensive DDR5 right away to use it either. This will depend on BIOS support though, and Intel says it'll be rolling out shortly after release.
Which will be November 4th, when we'll be validating Intel's performance claims and checking out the rest of the platform. The Core i9-12900K is going to be priced at an eye-watering $589. That's a fair bit less than the leaks suggested, but it is still $50 more than the 11900K and $40 more than a Ryzen 9 5900X, a CPU that has no efficiency cores, just performance cores, and 50% more of them. There's gonna be some spicy benchmarks coming your way next week. Like, I've been getting goosebumps thinking about all the innovations that AMD and Intel are gonna have to make over the coming years now that they are at each other's throats again properly, and we've finally got an engineer back in charge at Intel. AMD, for their part, are expecting their next-gen Ryzen processors with V-Cache to get up to a 25% gaming improvement and a 15% improvement overall. If that is true, Intel and AMD may end up neck and neck in terms of gaming performance by the end of the year, and it'll be AMD's turn once again to pull off a little magic trick. Don't you love the CPU leapfrog? That's my favorite dance. And I love sponsors, like NordPass. NordPass wants to help you keep your private information safe, and their password manager stores passwords, notes, credit cards, anything that you want to be protected by a strong, secure password with two-factor authentication. It recognizes your favorite website, so it'll automatically fill in your login details and allows you to create new, complex, and secure passwords with their built-in password generator. NordPass Premium starts at only $2.50 a month and gives you additional features like data breach alerts, password health reports, and up to 6 active devices. For NordPass's back-to-school sale, for a limited time, you can get 50% off a NordPass
What is up, everybody? On this call, we're going to be dealing with a refund scammer that wants to steal $4,000 from us. We're going to be deploying the wonderful, sweet grandma, Mary Swanson. She is so kind. She's a sweet little grandma. And think about like your grandma that makes cookies for you and knits and quilts all day and says sorry all the time. This is what Mary Swanson is. She's going to take Eric on a 4-hour ride. This call will have
press that 4 square Windows key and the letter R like Robert together at the same time.
It came up, it says run.
You have to just type there www.takesupport
Yeah,
.us.
are you tired or something, honey?
No, I'm not tired.
Okay.
Yes, I'm a little bit tired. If you don't mind, can I tell you, like, can I say grandmom?
Sure, okay, of course.
Can you see that, Supremo, ma'am?
Yes, Derek.
Open file. Click on open file. Do you see any option like run or save or accept?
It says, do you want to run this file?
Click on run. Click on run. Click on run. So, ma'am, what I'm telling is you are received $299. Okay.
Okay.
So can you confirm me, ma'am, where you want to receive?
My checking would be fine.
And you
Checking.
do online banking, right?
Yes, I do.
All right. You just give me the moment then. All right, ma'am.
Can you please not put me onto mute?
Oh,
Derek?
okay, ma'am. All right, ma'am.
It makes me feel lonely. I live alone.
Oh, sorry.
Thank
I
you,
never
son.
put your mute. All right. Just log in your account, all right? How to log in into your account? Just log in.
I don't know if I told
Sorry?
you, but I really am sorry.
Why you say sorry?
I just apologize if there's any issues and it's maybe my fault. I'm just sorry.
No, not at all, ma'am. Don't say sorry. Oh, my God. I will transfer directly the $299 in your account, right?
Thank you, Derek, for
right.
everything.
It's my job, ma'am. All right.
Oh, you can just call me Grandma. You don't have to call me ma'am.
Okay, Grandma. You have a lovely patience. I appreciate for it.
Well, it's because I've had a little bit of champagne this morning.
Wow. Can you able to go outside your home?
Yeah, why?
No, I just simply asking. You said that
Oh,
you took
okay.
them.
Yeah, why?
No, I just simply asking. You said that
Oh,
you took
okay.
them from. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, hi, Grandmom. How are you doing today?
Fine, how are you? Is this Derek still?
Yes.
Your voice sounds different.
Yes. Like your call is transferred to me. Okay, I'm helping you out.
You said this was Derek and you lied.
No. I'm just telling you that your call is transferred to me. I'm here to help you out. Okay, I'm helping you out right now.
But
Okay.
where did Derek go?
So I can transfer you the money. कैसे बात करने मांग रहे हो? Hello, ma'am. This is Derek, your
Hi,
son.
Derek.
What we have to do here, can I transfer the call to my senior? He will better help you. I'm in touch with you,
Yes,
all right?
but I don't like that he called you a dumb. Why would he
Like
talk to
he
my
said
son
to-
like that?
Okay, I will fire him. All right, so I will help you. Don't need to worry. All right,
Okay.
ma'am? Yeah, have you touched the computer, ma'am?
Yeah.
Why are you touching the computer?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Kaun log? Don't touch your computer, mom, okay?
Okay.
Putting all the
Oh.
government taxes, it
Okay.
will be $400, all right? $400.
400.
All right. You did a 4,000? What did you type? The
I
4,000?
didn't do 4,000.
Okay, just give me the moment. What did you write down the piece of paper?
4,907 and 6 cents.
Now, the transaction number. Read me the transaction number, ma'am. Read me the transaction number.
XXX15932.
All right. No, just wait. Edit. All right, just give me the moment. Now, ma'am, now come to the computer, all right? You just type $400, okay? That I can refund that $400. Wait, ma'am. Put
That's
the
not ma'am.
dot. Wait,
That's
mom. All right. Just type the 400. Only 400. Oh my. Now let me show you here. Oh my goodness. You put the extra zero on it. That's when you receive the $4,000. You made a mistake here.
No, I
I think
didn't.
I think you're so excited. Can you Can you see? Okay, just wait. Okay, mom. Now can you log in once again? Because the money is not transferred yet. All right.
Okay, so now it's not
Let me check.
transferred? Okay. Well, that's good. So I
Yeah.
didn't make the error?
Okay, now just give me the moment. I will open my Chase Bank once again. All right. Yeah. Can you see that we are just transfer the refund money?
Well, what
here?
happened to the other 4,000?
No, no. I will send you once again. All right. Just wait. There's some mistake here. Your computer running slow. Now, can you see? All right. Now, just wait. Now, what you have to type here? You just type $400. Okay. Now the money is successfully transferred. All right. All right. My goodness. That's mean you type extra zero on it, right?
I didn't do that.
As I told you, ma'am, your computer running very slow, right? So might be possible you type extra zero on it. That's
No,
why, as
I
you can
think it's,
see here.
it's something maybe you did.
No, no, no. Why should I did? All right, ma'am. What you have to do here, I will just transfer the call my senior at the bank department. All right, our financial department. Just give me the moment.
Yeah, hi, madam. Your call is transferred to me. My name is Mark Wilson, and I am the senior supervisor, okay? Because of this extra zero, madam, I'll simply lose my job. Like the Derek will going to lose the job, ma'am.
Okay, hold on.
See, ma'am, see. Wait. You can look at the bank right now. See, I'm telling you, like, ma'am, by mistake, you got the money into your account, which is 4,000, correct? We cannot take it back directly because it would be totally illegal and I can lose my job. Okay, wait, hold on for a moment, Granny. Hold on. How far is that?
It's maybe 15 minutes away. Where did Derek, my son, go?
Ma'am, your son is right here in front of you. Like, he is crying right now, okay?
Can I hear him crying?
Hello.
Is this Derek?
Hello, mom.
Why are you crying?
Because I'm going to lose my job, ma'am. Please try to help me out.
It doesn't sound like you're crying.
Yeah, because I can't hear you properly, okay?
Okay.
Just hang up the call, okay, mom?
All right. I think what we're going to do on this call, I'm going to run this guy through the ringer. I am going to destroy this guy, brand new scammer, and we're going to see what happens.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, this is Mary. Who's this?
All right, this is Derek one more time, mom.
What's the password, Derek?
No, I just told you I can't hear you properly, right?
Yeah, but what's
And
the
I'm calling you
password?
back.
So you don't know the password?
No. I know the password.
He's not crying. I'm going to run circles around this guy. He's going to hate me. Hello?
Yeah, mom. Can you hear me, mom?
Who is this?
Yeah, this is Derek.
You stopped crying that fast?
I'm still crying here.
What's the passcode? You said that we had to do a passcode. What is the passcode?
T as in Tom, 5 as 5, the numerical 5.
No, that's not it. I'm sorry. This might be a hacker or somebody. I'm sorry. I have to hang up.
No. Mom.
Hello?
Yeah, mom, this is Derek.
What is the passcode, Derek?
I told you already. You don't need to ask me.
The guy from Microsoft's calling me. Hold on one second. I'll call you right back.
Hello?
I'm going to push his buttons until he just gives up.
And ma'am, I'm going to need you,
Hello?
ma'am. Can you please go to your browser, please?
Well, I'm already working on a session with another person. I'm sorry?
Who are you? Who are you?
Derek, can I call you back? I'm actually talking with the rep from Microsoft.
Do you see that? There is no money into your account, right?
Why? Why is there zero in my account?
You are not returning back my money. And you hung up on me, okay? So do you want your money back or do you want to lose all the money?
Why would you do that to me?
You took all of her money out of her account?
Can you please hang up right now?
Ma'am, listen, ma'am. This gentleman, does he know the passcode?
What is the passcode then, Jeremy?
The passcode is landing strip.
Right, the passcode is that landing strip, okay?
I'm just going to hang up. Whoever knows the passcode can call me back. Oh, he's going to AnyDesk. Okay, perfect. Hello, I don't know what to do here.
Mom, listen to me. You don't talk anyone, all right? You just talk with me. Yeah, I will give you the new password, okay? The password is Derek Blue.
Okay.
I don't like
Derek,
that. Just have the password be my favorite food, pierogies.
Pierogi. Okay,
Yes.
all right. Can you please confirm me the new password?
Yeah, it's pierogi.
The password is Pierogi, okay? P-R-O-G-Y.
Yes.
Okay? So right now what you have to do, you need to go to the CVS store and you need to purchase a Best Buy gift card. Are you ready to leave for the CVS store right now?
How can I buy it
Mom.
if you guys took all my money out?
I'm returning back all the money. You don't have to be worried at all, okay? I'm holding. Once you're ready, let me know, okay?
The line? You're holding the line, or do I need to call you back? All right, you
holding
guys
the
can
line.
call me back then. I'm gonna go get dressed.
No.
So these despicable scammers are getting to the point now where they will lock you out of your computer using software, and then even they will make it look like they took all the money out of your bank account. Give me my money back. The scammers put on a password. This is just like the sys key that goes on. So they'll be doing this on Windows 10 machines. So they'll be downloading this and then they put this little password thing on there. This is one of the ways that they do around like the no sys key. So they have this. So the first thing they do, they put your account to 0. Secondly, they do this lock you out of the system kind of thing.
Hello?
Hello? What
Yeah.
is the passcode?
Pierogi, are you dressed, Mom?
Yes, I am.
Once you will be in the car, let me know, okay?
Yes, can I speak to Derek before I leave, my son?
Oh my God. Do you want your money back or not?
Oh, you're the one that took my money?
I'm giving you
How
all the
dare
money.
you? I
Hello,
swear
Mom.
with everything
Mom,
that's
this is
pure
Derek.
and holy, I'm coming
Mom,
after you.
Mom, this is Terry.
Where's the
Please,
guy? Where's that guy that just said he took all my money? I'm just gonna go to the stupid store.
Yeah, Mom. Thank you so much, Mom.
Yeah, why aren't you
Thank
crying enough? You need to be crying more.
Mom. Once you reach the parking lot, just let me know, Mom, okay? Love you, Mom. No,
Move out of the way! Ah!
Hello, Mom. Are you there?
I just got into an accident.
Oh my God. So why you keep talking
What, you
while
keep
you're
calling
driving?
me.
No,
Oh,
Mom. You can put me on speaker, okay? Are you fine right now, Mom?
you keep telling me to call you back and all these things, and you're yelling at me.
Are you in a serious?
Justin,
No. Are you in a serious tech rest?
it's coming by.
Don't tell them we are from the computer, okay? You just tell them he's my son.
Hi, officer. Yeah, I'm a little bit dizzy. I'm on the phone with my son. I'm going. Where am I going, Derek? Derek, son, why are you not there now for me?
Are you fine?
Yes, God.
Got something more important to go to, but yeah, so we'll have her drive home now. I'll give the phone back.
No, like I just. This is Derek. Are you fine, Mom?
I don't understand, and I can't fathom that after all that the scammer's been through, even the car accident with the police being involved, they still want to get that money after the victim's going to the bank. It's just sickening to me.
My neck is a little tight. My knees are weak, and my arms are pretty
Mom.
heavy. Why was the first thing that you said as if I'm at CVS? I was in a wreck.
No. Leave it. You don't need to go anywhere. Come back to your home.
I'm going to the
Are
bank
you-
to get the money out to send to you.
No. You don't need to go to your bank. You don't
Yeah,
need to
I'm
go to your
almost
bank.
here.
Okay, how much you withdrawing the cash?
The 40,000 that I owe you guys.
The 4,000, right?
Yeah, the 40,000.
Okay. So are you alone right now, or are you with the cat?
No, I'm alone now. They left me. They had something. I think there was a cat that was in the tree.
You have our $40,000, right? Just withdraw 10,000 only. You just tell them this is for your this is for your personal purpose, all right?
Yeah,
Personal
this is
purpose.
for my grandson. He works at the computer company.
Okay. No, not you don't tell them the computer company, okay? You just tell them this is for my personal purpose. Please, ma'am, please.
Okay.
Are you at the parking lot of bank?
Yes.
You don't need to withdraw money, okay? I will give you my account number. You can transfer the refund money in my account, okay?
I don't
Transfer
feel
the
very comfortable doing that.
Can withdraw the money,
I'm going to
alright?
withdraw the money.
I do understand, Mom. Just withdraw the $4,000, all right?
10,000.
withdraw-
It was 10,000.
Yeah. No, you just withdraw only 4,000, all right?
Okay. Yeah, I'm getting out the 10,000.
Not 10,000.
Okay.
It should be
I love
4,000.
you. Oh my gosh.
All right, so now we're going to call him back.
Hello?
Yeah, hello, Mom. This is Danny.
What's the passcode?
Pierogi, yes, pierogi.
I'm going to change your last name to Pierogi. So I'm driving
You have
home. I
money?
got the 10,000 out.
So if you are really want to send me the money, you have to go to the CVS store or any store which you have nearby.
I am not buying gift cards.
Okay, just give me the moment, okay? You have to come back your home, okay? With the $10,000, okay? Come back your home, okay, Mom?
Okay.
While you're driving, just safe drive. Don't talk too much, okay? I'm with you.
Derek.
Yeah, Mom.
I've made it home.
Tell me, Mom, is your computer on, Mom?
Yes.
Do you see any option like yes?
Yes, I do.
Click on it. Click on that. All right, Mom. Just give me a moment here. Just log in first here. And do you have a $10,000 with you?
Yes.
Okay.
I had to get it out of my savings. They said I didn't have enough in my account.
Okay, Mom. Okay, Mom. Thank you. Love you, Mom, for the helping you.
Even after 2.5 hours of all the shenanigans, these scammers are still hook, line, and sinker, even after no matter what. And it's funny to see how
Did you fall for a shooting star? A one without a permanent star, and then you missed
Yes. Oh, luck.
to the address. Okay.
In the same number.
The money.
In the okay. I will give.
Yes.
watching me right now. That's me.
Hello.
I'm sorry, what did you just call me?
No, I didn't call you. Hello.
I'm sorry, what did you just call me?
No, I didn't call you. I didn't call you. That's right.
Please take it off of mute.
Just wait for a second, okay?
Okay. I'm sorry.
I am draining all of their time. The call center is literally laughing at the scammer right now. Once the video is over with, then he'll come back. They're watching it right now.
All right.
So I just hung up. We'll see if he picks up.
Hello?
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 Home right now. Honey, I'm in the car driving.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Okay, bye.
I wanted to call him back.
Derek, what happened?
Hey, you mother. You.
What happened?
You mother.
Excuse me?
You.
Why are you cursing me like that? What do I do with the money?
Well, a good almost 4 hours was a wonderful call. The best part is we showed how their scams work. We showed just some of the intricate details of how they're susceptible to scam baiting. Having a new guy on the phone really helped with continuing the scam bait, in my opinion, versus switching over to a senior. Throwing in some of the different things that we did with the wreck and all that. That was pretty good, y'all. He was very humiliated by his coworkers. They were all laughing at him and they were calling him MFer and stuff like that. He was not very, very happy with that. But messing with both of those guys over almost a 4 hour span was really, really fun. Hey, did you miss this call live? Well, you don't have to miss it live. Just join us live on YouTube for our live streams and also on twitch.tv/scammerpayback. We'll
Did you know that your mouse isn't getting the bandwidth you need to be the best gamer you can be? We love when marketing has tried anything they can think of to get you to buy their new product.
Oh my God.
And when ASRock came out with their new Riptide motherboards featuring
lightning gaming ports
for your high polling rate mouse and keyboard, we just had to find out if it was real. And we know our sponsor, don't expect these ports to matter. Now, first things first, we don't expect these ports to matter. USB 3.0 has a couple things going for it. Full duplex data transfer and max speeds of 5 gigabit. This means it can send signals back and forth at the same time, and it can do so very quickly. This has been great for modern hardware as we plug in more and more devices that use more and more data, but how much data does a mouse or keyboard actually use? Well, a standard mouse sends about a 3-byte packet every time it's pulled to calculate position and whether or not a button is being pressed. If your polling rate is, let's say, 1000 Hertz, that's 3000 bytes of data every second. To some, this may seem like a lot, but remember that even USB 2.0, which we've had since April of 2000, has a theoretical max signaling rate of around 60 megabytes. If a 1000 Hertz mouse is sending less than 3 kilobytes of data per second, which is absolutely nowhere close to the max signaling rate, why do we even care? Meet Razer's Viper 8 kilohertz. Where is it? Yeah, there it is. This is one of the very few 8 kilohertz mice on the market. Now, just like your monitor having a high refresh rate is good for getting the edge over your opponent, a higher polling rate mouse and keyboard are too. The higher the rate, the lower the click-to-photon latency you should experience. Now, this particular mouse boasts about a 0.125 millisecond motion and click latency, making your actions even more near instant than with a traditional 1000 Hz gaming mouse. The jump to 8 kHz makes our data usage shoot up to 24 kilobytes per second, but that's still well under our USB limits. Even if we add an 8 kHz keyboard on top of our 8 kHz mouse and double the data rate to 48 kilobytes per second, we're still well within limits. And most newer devices these days are using USB 3.0 or later anyway, with newer motherboards having increasingly robust I/O featuring multiple 3.0 ports. However, the issue lies not with the ports or the cables, but with the USB controller present on each board. Data comes in from your device through a cable to the USB port, then to the controller and CPU. The maximum bandwidth is usually a little under what the theoretical maximum of the cable is, with most controllers getting around 400 megabytes per second in 3.0. If you have only one controller, eventually all of that traffic is going to add up depending on how many devices you have connected and what they're doing. But even if you have a file transferring to a thumb drive, maybe you're writing data to a DVD or Blu-ray burner, there's a mic hooked up to recording audio, sound being output to a headset, chances are you're still fine hooking up your fast gaming peripherals and using cable ties from lttstore.com. Not according to ASRock though. Meet the Riptide. This is the X570 model, and it's a decent board for the price. DDR4 up to 5000 megahertz, 10-phase VRM, 3 PCI Express slots, lots of SATA and M.2 ports. Yep, it's a modern board, all right. However, what we're interested in are the
Lightning gaming ports.
Here and here for your mouse and keyboard specifically. Let me read you the little description they have on their website. Patent pending, of course. Aimed for die-hard jitter, but marketing it as a gaming gimmick is dumb. With modern CPUs and USB 3.0 and greater, polling rate issues are simply a thing of the past. We got Kyle, one of our engineers, to solder on the connections needed for our LDAT system from NVIDIA and check the click-to-photon latency using the fastest mouse and keyboard we have, at 8 kHz and 4 kHz respectively. Speaking of keyboards, make sure you get subscribed so you don't miss out our upcoming video on the data hand. What is it? Exactly. Guess what? Regardless of which ports we used, the results were the same or within margin of error, whether we added an extra keyboard input while firing off 100 clicks or not. Right ports, active use, about 49 milliseconds. Wrong ports, 49 milliseconds. Right ports, 49 milliseconds. One right, one wrong, 49 milliseconds every single time. But let's try it, just to make sure that in a real world scenario with a lot more random input, your USB ports aren't going to cause you to miss that crucial headshot. All right, let's pull this back a little bit. I don't know. Oop. I'm just gonna play CS:GO first. Man, for a little while I was playing with a friend, and the friend was in Finland. So I was playing with a bunch of Russians, and it's like 300 millisecond lag. Wow, you got all the money. All right, let's go with the AUG. The latency feels pretty good. Like everything I'm doing is pretty much instantaneous. All right, well, I'm not noticing any hitching or anything when I'm moving around, especially not like pressing buttons on the keyboard. I would expect there to be a difference if there's a difference, I would be able to see it with this monitor since it's like 360 Hertz, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so the overall experience I'm having right now is pretty much the same as the experience I had when plugged into the USB 3.0 port. Yeah, oh right, sorry, the
Lightning gaming ports.
Yeah, this is the plebeian USB 2.0 ports that you'd normally probably want to plug your keyboard and mouse into because they don't need that much data. Man, this game mode is kind of weird because everybody's everywhere. Practice with bots. Oh yeah, it is deathmatch. Casual dust. Should be a little more tactical and less frenetic in this case. Which, I mean, I don't know if that's better or worse for like Twitch reflexes. But I can't hear anything, so it would help to know where everybody's coming from, generally. That was not a headshot, but it was what I was aiming at. Also not a headshot. So I'm not clicking heads. I don't think this sensitivity is quite what I'm used to either, but it's closer to it. Actually, one thing that's kind of weird about having a really high refresh rate is every little twitch that you make, whether you mean to or not, is registered. So like as I'm trying to aim, like I'm like constantly trying to readjust. Yeah, let's try Doom. There's a second. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, I'm on the 2.0 ports. That's why I'm dying right now. There we go. I got some health. All right, let's switch it over to the Lightning gaming ports. Because like so far, like I haven't been dropping inputs. I haven't noticed any hitching. My aiming's been okay. Even what's that mouse cursor doing there? Yeah, I'm not noticing a big difference here, Chief.
Are you surprised anyway?
No. I mean, we might see a big difference if we were like saturating the bandwidth of the controller, but that's not what they actually advertise. Like they advertise a stupid little, oh no, you're pressing keyboard buttons and now your game is, your mouse is no longer accurate anymore. It's skipping around. Every time you press the W key, your mouse needs to wait. It's not quite how that works. And like, even if it does have to wait, even if they like, maybe they have like an oscilloscope thing where they've actually verified that it makes a difference. If it doesn't make a difference in frames in your game, does it actually make a difference? And as of right now, it does not appear to be making a difference. I don't know, maybe you could convince yourself out of placebo that you're getting a better gaming experience, but yeah, I'm not calling BS. This graph though, that's BS. Unlike our sponsor, Crucial. Thanks to Crucial for sponsoring today's video, but yeah, I'm not calling BS. This graph though,
Can you smell?
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on Oh man. So we back in the mind, got our pickaxe swinging from side to side, side to side. This task a grueling one, hope to find some diamonds tonight, diamonds tonight. Hey, you hear a sound, turn around the world, total shock, feels your body, once you again,
I'm sorry to interrupt you, listener. Connection terminated. I'm sorry to interrupt you, listener.
'Cause baby tonight, grab your pink shovel and bolt again.
Happy New Year. I didn't say they were white people. Oh, Canada. So voluptuous. But look at those curves. Straight line, straight line. Or was it? Burned down the White House, a piece of hot garbage. Straight line, like rats or disease. Manifest Destiny, a British charter company dedicated to turning as many beavers as possible into as many felt hats as possible as quickly as possible. And there's no way I'm ever going to agree to it! So maybe it's about time you moved out of your dad's attic. I don't want to see you using my toothbrush, and I don't want to catch you wearing my underwear. And I don't want to catch you using my computer and selling my data to advertisers. Well, then you, my friend, should use and watch every single BTS video known to mankind. I've got my spotted dick, my Spice Girls fan club membership. What are you looking at, Steven? What the? Diarrhea having. Hopped in their wagons when they hit the ground running. You wanted a straight line? There's your straight line. Hold the phone. Discrepancy detected. Enhance frame, 200%. Enhance. Enhance. Oh, too far. Perfect. At times, the debate became rather heated. Order! Order! Shut up! All right, listen up. We got a lot to get through. The 7th Earl of Gissingham says he encountered a foul beast in the fields of Upper Parliamentary late last night and put this sketch together? That's a poor person, Darren. Ugh. Next, Lord Piddlingham says he has a new mole on his backside? How is that parliamentary business, George? Oh, some islands in the Pacific Northwest are in dispute and could lead to a war with America? Boring! Fine, let's take a look at that mole, George. Die? Oh, Porky. Griffin wasn't Hey, put on this wig. Boom, you're a magistrate now. Put on this badge. Go suck an egg. Oh, that is. But also the islands are definitely ours. Under no circumstances let the other side have them. And there's no way I'm ever gonna agree to it! Oh no! It is up to you to keep your potatoes out of my pig! Look at that, just a Lyman. I'm Lyman. Chases it for 1.5 miles, just to give it a beating. Hey yo, Captain Pickett. Yes sir, listen carefully. I need an idiot. I see. But, hold on, what'd you tell me to bring flowers for? Because, Pickett, they're pretty and I like them! Maybe he was just an idiot. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that too much to ask, princess? Please don't shoot me. Oh crap, Jeff, we're about to get blown to bits! Run! It probably won't surprise you to learn Pickett came dead last in his graduating class. Because a major war breaking out in their doorstep was the single most exciting thing to ever happen in any of their miserable frontier lives. Pig and some potatoes. I'm not gonna be the one who starts a war! Aww. Baines could have kissed him. Whether he did or not, history doesn't tell. But I like to think they did. But you're the president. What? Breckenridge? Am I the president? Yes, sir. Sir? Oh, no. Go away. Not the curtain again, Mr. President. I'm not here. Buchanan. Tell him the British were sending bands of Indians to attack our men, and that they're big meanies with coal for hearts, and that they made me cry like a little girl. Wait, no, that makes me sound weak. They made me cry like a big girl. Yeah, that's it. He was so big, he had to be hoisted onto his ship in a basket. I'm gonna enjoy this. I'm gonna eat it. Thank you, General. Shut up. I don't care about you. You're an idiot. 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 You guys are fine. And you two are the most mind-numbingly brain-dead ding-dongs I've ever encountered in all my life. And I'll see you in my office. Is he gone? I think so. Good. Hunt, you're fired. Pickett, you're going back on the island. All right, you psychopath. I've been waiting years for this. I hate you. I've always hated you. Pizzazz. Zing. Just a pig. It's our manifest destiny. The American flag. Every
freaking ridiculous. Wait, hold on a second. 13.9 terabytes. This QX extra large SSD has a whopping 15.3 terabytes of capacity. What would you even buy, friends, over get off this much solid state storage? And how much would you pay for it? I legit want to know. Can you
You have all been called here.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body belongs to me. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Content, hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I wanna taste consumption. Breathe faster to waste oxygen. Hear the children sing aloud. It's music till the wick burns out. Be carefree lately, yeah. Just picking up daisies. Got one too many quarters in my pockets. Counting like the 4-leaf clovers in my locket. Untied side.